this is that gun case we were just talking about moments ago. Again, questioning whether somebody who is a domestic violence abuser and has a restraining order against them should have access to a gun and can legally have access to a gun. Lisa, we were just talking about this. I know you're quickly trying to get to the bottom line of what the decision is. Do you have that answer?
I do. I don't necessarily have the division, but the holding of the decision is when an individual, and I'm reading to you from the front page of the decision, when an individual has been found by a court to pose a credible threat to the physical safety of another, that individual may be temporarily disarmed, consistent with the Second Amendment. That is an upholding of that federal statute. That is, as I was just speculating with you, where this was headed. And, you know, based on the oral arguments in this case, many legal observers believed that a majority of the court would uphold the statute. They didn't understand necessarily who that majority was going to be. I will tell you that this is a this is a difficult decision to parse in terms of the number of, we were talking earlier about the number of pages, the number of concurrences. Chief Justice Roberts wrote the decision for the court, and it has 7 other justices joining it. It is an 8-1 decision, Anna. There are some concurrences. And the only dissenting justice is Justice Clarence Thomas today in the Rahimi decision. So I'm going to spend some time trying to parse this. I did want to talk a little bit, if we could, for a moment, about the Manhattan DA and their brief today with respect to the gag order.
Let's hit pause on that and try to circle back, because I want to dig into this Rahimi decision and give you a second also to take a look at that. And let me get to Yamiche Alcindor, who is also looking through this decision right now. Yamiche, what stands out to you?
Well, what stands out is that the Supreme Court is saying here that if you are found in violation of a domestic violence law, that you can't have temporarily your rights to guns be taken away from you. And that's really important in this case, because the government was essentially arguing that if you are someone who's a threat to someone and been found to credibly have violated laws, that you should not be allowed to have guns. I also think it's important to put this into context. It was in 2022 that the Supreme Court for the first time found that you have a right to bear arms outside of your house, which meant that there were a lot of questions about whether or not other kinds of laws that were restricting people's access to guns related to domestic violence, related to other sort of breaking laws, whether or not those laws would be in some ways come into question here. And the Supreme Court here is standing on that and saying absolutely, in this case, domestic abuse violators have the ability to get their guns taken away. I also think it's important to point out that this is an 8-1 decision. We talk a lot about the fact that this is a 6-3 conservative majority court, but here you're seeing a decision that's written by Chief Justice Roberts, and the liberals and conservatives, other than Justice Clarence Thomas, are all finding that they agree on this issue. So it is, I think, striking to see sort of this split, a split that we don't often see, which is an 8-1 split.